told Foxy it's your birthday, not for real, just for play. This is Cree Summer, and Moana Nui will be right back.
Good evening and welcome to our June edition of Moana Nui After Dark presents Geek Speak On Sports. I am here with my partner Furious. Brother, how are you doing?
I am actually pretty damn psyched. I am happy. I'm excited. I don't know why, and I'm not questioning it. I don't always get these I don't know what the hell to call them this late in the day, but I'm not questioning it. I'm feeling pretty fucking good.
Absolutely, sir. Do not adjust your screens. You are not seeing things. Yes, it is a Thursday. We had to bump one day because I decided that I was going to be a grown adult and go to a Wu-Tang concert on a school night.
Wu-Tang for the kids.
Wu-Tang forever.
Wu-Tang for the kids.
And needless to say, I proceeded to go to bed somewhere around 1:30 in the morning, get up at 4 a.m. to go to my regular 9 to 5 at 5:30 a.m. because we are in office this week.
Woo!
Right. To say that I've had minimum sleep is an understatement. But the concert was great. That's all that matters. The concert was great. Let's get into it, man. The other half of our show probably not going to make it tonight. One we're hopeful may show up, but we'll continue to go on without them and present things in a manner in which they can still be proud of us, mostly. Let's just get started out the way with the biggest thing, because the biggest thing right now involves what just happened this past weekend, and that is Coco Gauff winning the French Open.
Oh, man, they are so mad about that. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Look, congratulations to Coco. First and foremost, congratulations to Coco.
Absolutely.
It is her second major because she has won a U.S. Open. The only one she hasn't won is Wimbledon and the Australian Open. So she's halfway to the career slam. All props to her. It sucks because I was scoreboard watching the match on Saturday because I was shocked ESPN didn't even have it on air. It was on True TV and some other networks, but it wasn't on ESPN. They normally carry both men's and women's finals for the four major tournaments in tennis, but not this time. And I scoreboard watch because I feel like I'm a jinx when it comes to watching Coco live. Real talk, because every time I watch her live, she loses.
Damn.
And it's like, I'm rooting for her. I want her to win. I want to see her win, but not at the expense of me watching her. If it's going to call, like, I feel like I'm the jinx. So
what I'm gonna need you to start doing is at least turn on the TV so that she gets the ratings credit, and then go in another room. At least do that. Like, I've bought tickets for movies I want to support, but I knew if I watched the movie, bad things would happen after the movie was over. So I just buy the ticket and I just don't go to the movie.
Yeah, so I was, like I said, I was scoreboard watching. I saw she lost the first set on tie break, and I was like, I'm gonna stop watching and look at some other things. I watched some WNBA games, cleaned up around the crib, flipped back. Later today, was like, oh snap, the match should be over by now, and saw 6-2, 6-4. Was like, cool, she won. It's great. Celebrating, bouncing up and down, like watching all the post-game stuff or whatever. And then unfortunately, her opponent, whose name I don't even want to say because she doesn't deserve any recognition at this point.
Oh no, we're not saying her name on this show. We're not saying her name.
wants to come out and blame literally everything but her ineptitude to bounce back and win this match.
Oh, she lost because she was making mistakes and not correcting her mistakes, and not because Coco was a better player.
Again, as I told my coworkers today, because I told them I was going to say this on the show tonight, the first set was a tie break, but then you lost 6-2, 6-4. You got your ass kicked.
Right.
I can understand that points were highly contested. You know, you may have gotten up to 30 or forced the deuce on a couple of points. You still lost them, and it was still 6-2, 6-4 in the final two sets. So, as the Eagles said in the Super Bowl, belts to asses. So I don't understand why you making excuses of all these things that went wrong, like the court this, the win that. I'm sorry, this is a one-on-one match, and Coco was playing in the same conditions you were.
Right. This reminds me of, and granted, I'm not the biggest tennis fan in the world, but I try to keep up with what's going on. And I seem to remember another young Black woman who won some tennis tournaments, and she beat some white women, and when they're standing there taking their pictures together, you see some very unhappy faces on those white women who got beat. However, when said Black woman lost and she's standing there holding her second place trophy, she is smiling and cheering on the person who won. It's almost like they don't think we belong. Like, really? Is that what it is? Because I'm noticing a pattern.
Nah, that hasn't changed.
And then you've got people writing articles. I can't remember. I saw one article earlier this week. I wish I could remember where it was, but essentially the person who wrote the article is shitting on Coco all throughout the article, attempting to back up the claim that she won because her opponent didn't correct any of the mistakes that she made. God forbid this 21-year-old young Black woman is just better. She is just better. Not bitter, better. And they don't like it.
They never do. Because it's always excuses.
Damn bad. And again, something you brought up. What did you say? She's halfway to, what did you call it?
The career slam.
At 21. Again, I don't know a whole lot about tennis, but to me, that's young no matter what it is that you're doing.
True. So, again, big ups to Coco. She deserves everything because she has been on a world tour. She's been to multiple WNBA games where they have had her in the locker room from the Liberty to the Sky, celebrating with them, being acknowledged in the crowds at all these games, and rightfully celebrated, as we should. And that salty little wench over there who took that L.
The hell with her and her funky little attitude.
Yeah, she just need to go somewhere and kick rocks.
Right. Matter of fact, hold on a quick second. I want to look something up real quick.
Because it's funny how they're allowed to be spoiled little brats when they lose, but we have to be graceful when we lose.
And interestingly enough, that little brat is 27 years old.
Oh.
You don't have better emotional control at 27 than a 21-year-old? Really?
No, because
that's just sad.
Because let's be very frank about this. She's salty. She lost. Age not being a factor. She's salty. She lost to a woman of color.
Absolutely.
Because had she lost to a white woman, it was, oh well, you know, she just got the best of me today. But the bitterness because how dare this Black woman beat me? Like, nah, she didn't beat me. I beat myself.
Right.
But hey, that's the loser mentality though. Yep. That is the loser mentality. So that's how she feel. Cool. Don't win another major for the next 3-4 years.
Or ever.
Ever would be nice. But
or ever.
She will probably luck up into something later on. But big ups to
She'll play
Coco.
somebody as mediocre. She'll play somebody as mediocre as she is.
Big ups to Coco.
Absolutely.
The Wimbledon, because we already had the Australian Open to start the season. Wimbledon and the U.S. Open are on the horizon soon, so still got those two coming up later on this year. Get to the NBA real quick. The finals are currently going on, and I am shocked. Because I expected better of Oklahoma City, to be perfectly honest. And not to say the Pacers aren't a good team, and I'm glad
I got you.
I'm glad we're doing this now without Candaysee present, considering the Pacers took out her Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't, not to be a sore spot with that, but you saw her comment in the chat during game 1 of the finals. Like, can't stand these Pacers. Like, what the hell happened? Are they making it interesting? And I was like, I'll check it out later. I woke up the next morning and found Pacers win game 1. What? Game 1 was in OKC.
Yeah.
And I get that collectively the star talent on OKC is young, but so is the the star talent on Indiana is slightly older outside of Halliburton, because he's the youngest of the star talent there. Yeah. But yeah, the rest of the star talent on the Pacers is slightly older. There's a number of guys 8-10 years experience in the league. But I'm like, y'all legit have the better team, and you're not playing like it right now. They're currently down 2-1 instead of being up 2-1. And the L they took last night was just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Because I am befuddled, to say the least. So your take on it so far.
So on our last show, I made a prediction that is clearly wrong. I initially said the finals were going to be Minnesota and the Knicks.
Yeah.
But shortly at some point on that same show, I said, okay, well, maybe it'll be Minnesota and the Pacers. So I'm going to give myself like partial credit, because I did at some point change and say the Pacers. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of credit. Not a lot, but a little bit. But yeah, collective, just watching these games, the Pacers want it more. They're playing better, they're scrappier, they're getting after the loose balls, and I'm like, regardless of who is the better team right now, Indiana wants it more than Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
that's just what it comes down to right now. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't want it, nah, that's a wrap.
Yeah, because Oklahoma City had, as far as defensive metrics, they were tops across the board for the regular season and the postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, best record in the league, if not just the West. So I don't understand what's happening with them right now in these finals of these first 3 games. Granted, they did win game 2, but
I think
they don't win game 4. If they don't win game 4 tomorrow night, it's over. I'm sorry.
I think they're trying to do it for Reggie. I think they're trying to do it for Reggie.
Which is funny, because I was at a bar last night and NBA TV was on doing pregame leading up to tip-off, and it was Steve Smith, whoever their host was, Candace Parker, Charles Barkley, and Reggie Miller showed up in his game jersey over a sweatshirt and crashed the set with 2 of his kids.
Nice.
So I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it. Game 3 was in Indiana, but geez, man,
they're doing it for Reggie,
man. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure he feels every bit a part of this.
Yeah, because that last year, or that last good run with Steven Jackson, to me, that was the year they should have won it. Like, I don't remember who else was on that team, but I remember Steven Jackson was on that team, and I remember just how good they were that year. And that should have been their year.
That was Steven Jackson, Roy Hibbert, Paul George.
Yeah.
And that little knucklehead dude who blew in LeBron's ear. I can't even remember his name because he don't even play in the league no more.
That should have been the year they got a championship.
Yeah, but they ran into, and that's the kicker. They ran into a very subpar Cavaliers team and I think they got swept in the East Finals. And they never bounced back afterwards because the management pretty much tore that team up.
Yep. And
Paul George is the only one still in the league right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if Paul George ends up on the Hawks at some point. I'm just saying, look at the Hawks over like the last 10 years and look at the guys that they get on their roster towards the last couple of years of their career. Two people in particular, Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter.
I didn't know T-Mac played for the Hawks.
Towards the end of his career.
Huh.
Actually, let me look it up and find out what year that was.
I clearly remember Vince Carter because y'all barely played him, even though he could still play better than the young kids on the team.
Yeah, he was with the Hawks with one season, 2011 to 2012.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much you play 1 year with the Hawks, realize you can't play anymore and retire. Got it.
Again, like I said, towards the tail end of their careers.
Vince played 3 with y'all, though.
Right. I mean, and I say Tracy McGrady because there was an interview I remember seeing with Kobe Bryant where they were asking him about, tough players for him to play against. And the one person he said was Tracy McGrady because Tracy McGrady.
Size.
Yeah. But so again, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if the last couple of years of Paul George's career, he ends up as a Hawk.
Switching gears over to the ladies in the WNBA season so far. The Minnesota Lynx finally took the first L of the season, and the Liberty, the defending champions, are still undefeated. Those are the two big stories right now, along with some young talent being currently injured. But have you seen any of your dream plays so far this season?
Unfortunately, no, I have not. Life has been lifing, and I haven't had a chance to sit and watch any of the Dreams games yet.
Gosh.
The one thing there's one clip that I saw that makes me so proud, and it's unfortunately it's not of my Atlanta Dream. It's I wish I could think of what her name is. The young lady who was defending Angel Reese in that post-game interview.
Oh, yes. Ariel Atkins.
That was just beautiful.
Yeah.
She was like, I love that. I do. I loved it. I was like, that right there is wonderful. But unfortunately, life has been life for me, and I have not seen any of my Atlanta Dream yet.
So, for those who are unaware, earlier this week, the BET Awards took place, I believe, Monday. Angel Reese received Sportswoman of the Year. And I believe Tuesday night they had a game that they won. And post-game, because for whatever reason, this is a thing that the sports media is doing. And you can find this clip online. Post-game, she's there at the podium press conference, her and Ariel Atkins. And instead of the media there asking her anything relative to basketball or the game she just played, they are constantly and still just only asking her questions about how she's perceived in social media. Yeah. And the hate that she gets. And that is, as Ariel said, like, that is a lot for her to deal with. She's only 23.
Right.
Like, if you have a question on basketball, the box score, something about the game, tonight's game, what just happened, cool, but all the other stuff y'all need to leave at the door. Like, y'all need to quit it. Because Jamel Hill on Politics mentioned this. I saw an article on ESPN on the WNBA section about it as well. She's the only player in the league that they pretty much ask stuff constantly, questions that are not related to basketball.
Right.
It's always something about, unfortunately, Caitlin Clark, or, you know, some video that some racist prick put up saying that she's terrible at basketball, or, you know, some comparison to how she's not good at her job, and it's all garbage and BS. And it's like, y'all have a job as a media to ask questions about the game. She hasn't done anything to cause controversy at all this season or previously. Like, I get the rookie season with her and Caitlin, cool, you want to ask whatever, but the one thing that they don't do, of course, is ask Caitlin about Angel.
Right. Another pattern we're noticing. Interesting.
And they weren't even playing Indiana. That's the other thing. They won't even be playing Indiana, and yet they will still find a need to ask her all these things about other folk. And it's like they're reaching for sound bites. They're trying to get her to slip up and say something. And I'm glad she's not biting.
Right. She is too, even at some of her work, and I shouldn't say worse, but post-game interviews after some of their losses, when you expect a person after a loss to maybe not have the best composure doing a post-game interview, she has held it together and is not giving them what they want. And it is a thing of beauty to watch her not let them get to her. It is wonderful.
Wonderful. Yeah, indeed it is. And apologies, they lost to New York the next night on Tuesday this week, so my bad for that misstep. But she had another great game. She had 17 points and 11 rebounds, another double-double, which she's going to shatter that record when her career is done.
Yep.
So, but yeah, as far as play in the league, Paige Beckers is balling. Unfortunately, Dallas is still taking L's. The Vegas Aces, they lost to the LA Sparks on Wednesday night. And I don't know what's going on with them. They're currently 4-4. Asia Wilson had to leave the game early with I think a concussion in that game last night against LA. And their coach, Becky Hammond, has done everything but throw them under the bus to try to get them to play better. And it's not working right now. Jewel Lloyd looks lost. I mean, Jackie Young and others have stepped up and tried, but cohesively as a unit, the Vegas Aces is not balling like they used to.
I'm kind of glad she hasn't thrown them under the bus yet.
I mean, she pretty much called them soft and said they weren't playing hard enough on defense in one press conference. So she's getting close, but you can see her frustration in the post game conferences.
Yeah.
And the handful of games that I've watched, even when they've won, to say she's not a happy camper on the side. And granted, the coach is always agitated because they feel like the players could be doing more, playing better, whatever, when you see them on the sideline. Yeah, there are moments where I see her sitting down, like, because she's just giving up because she doesn't know what to do at this point to get them to play better. But like I said, they got Jewel Lloyd this year in the 3-team trade that sent Kelsey Plum to the LA Sparks. And Jewel Lloyd has not meshed well so far with Vegas. So that is still a work in progress.
Yeah.
But yeah, between Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young, they're going to have to carry this team for a minute until Jewel Lloyd gets acclimated into the offense, because they is struggling. But like I said, Liberty's still undefeated. But even though Ionescu is not playing well, Stewart and Jonquil Jones, they're balling, but Ionescu is not playing consistently. She is up and down and all over the place. But
I mean, hopefully they'll get it together, because I mean, it's still early in the season.
It is.
It's still early in the season.
Yeah, I think the most any team has played is like 8 or 9 games. So
Yeah,
and this year I believe they play like 42 or 43 games because it's a 13th
no,
team.
this year it's actually 44.
44 games. Okay, yeah, I knew
this
it was
year
more
they're
than
playing
40.
44. Yeah,
Yeah,
but still, yeah, it's early enough in the season. They've got time to correct whatever is not going well. Hopefully, they will get it correct. They will get it soon, and we can see, them be better competitors.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Switch over to the NFL. And if you've been following the league, your long-awaited nightmare of when is Aaron Rodgers going to sign with the Steelers is finally over because he finally did it last week. And nobody's impressed. So there's that.
I mean, is anybody really? I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish by signing Aaron Rodgers.
They went all defense in the draft. They traded for DK Metcalf. The offensive line is, in my opinion, talent-wise, not better than it was last year. And last year was pretty much average, as average can be. So, I mean, I don't know what you expect out your running game when you let your best back go.
They should have stuck it out. I don't know why they didn't keep Russell.
Well, plan A.
I would take Russell over Aaron Rodgers in a heartbeat.
Okay, so Russell apparently wasn't part of any of the plans as far as their answer at quarterback going into the season. Plan A was to sign Justin Fields. But considering how they treated Justin Fields last year, that didn't work out. And he was in Dubai when he signed with the Jets.
Yeah.
Plan B was to sign for, do a trade with the Rams for Matthew Stafford. Crazy as that sounds, because at the time, Matthew Stafford wanted an extension and the Rams didn't look like they were going to give it to him. So that was their plan B. And when that fell through, because Stafford did finally get his extension, plan C was Aaron Rodgers. And there was nothing else after Aaron Rodgers, which is why they didn't draft a quarterback. Well, they did draft Will Howard in like the 6th round of the draft, but
I mean, I got a quarterback they can have.
No one wants that quarterback. Let me phrase that.
They can have him.
No team with a chance to compete wants that quarterback.
I'm just saying.
You already know how I feel about that
even help drive him. I'll even help drive him up.
I'll help
drive him up.
No, because if you drive him up, he ain't gonna be sitting in the front seat or the back seat. You're gonna drive him up in the trunk, bound in duct tape.
Hey! Don't be telling people stuff like that.
You act like folk don't know you.
Ain't nobody. I will help drive him up. And I don't know why I cannot send this picture of Aaron Rodgers that I am trying to send.
Oh Lord, which one
Damn
is
it?
Because
do you have Facebook Messenger up?
I do have Messenger open.
Okay, let me send it over there because I didn't get home early enough, so a couple of things I was trying to get ready tonight for I didn't, so I was trying to get this picture ready. I think it adequately represents Aaron Rodgers and his new
oh Lord
team. Oh, where is it? All right, there you go.
Oh my gosh. And I get it. Oh,
show it to the people. Show it to the people.
This is insane.
Show it to the people. Show it to the people. Show it to the people. Okay, fine. Don't wait. Let me get my iPad. I'll show it to the people. Okay, there you go.
For those of you who are too young, that is Mr. Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, PBS show that ran from the 70s through the 80s. Fun fact, the reason somebody did this is that Mr. Rogers' show was shot in Pittsburgh. For those who don't know. So even if you watch Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood growing up as a kid, it was filmed and shot in Pittsburgh. So yeah, hence this right here.
Yeah.
Funny enough, though, he's not wearing 12 because I'm pretty sure the Steelers are forbidding any quarterback to ever wear the number 12 ever again because of Terry Bradshaw.
Right.
So I believe he's wearing 8.
Yeah.
Again in New because he wore 8 in New York because with the Jets he wasn't going to wear 12 with Joe Namath and what he did.
Right.
So
I'm saying, but it's still rather appropriate.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the memeage of Aaron Rodgers has been nonstop. I posted a quick video in one of our sports groups that said Aaron Rodgers throwing in slow motion looks like a Cialis commercial. And I actually posted said short video with the voiceover of the Cialis commercial in that group. Because that's how crazy it is. It is just that nuts.
Okay, so there's one more that I'm just going to send to you.
Okay.
And I will let you determine if this one is too offensive to share with people, which is why I'm not putting it in our group chat.
Oh, man. Let me have it. Oh, I've seen this one. This one.
But like I said, that may be going a little too far.
Oh yeah, nah. So this one I shared in our podcast group.
Okay, I missed when you sent it then. Okay.
No, not this podcast. The old podcast, the NFL.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I sent it over there because it was appropriate for that group.
Yeah.
It wasn't appropriate for this group, but yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. That's why I just sent it to you. I was like, I will let James make that decision because, I tend to push people's buttons.
You like pushing people's buttons.
I just
like playing around with the line. I know I'm a habitual line stepper, but I like playing with it sometimes. I step over it and jump back. Like you ain't see nothing.
Oh, see, I enjoy crossing the line and not looking back.
You also erase the line after you cross it. Like what line?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh man, anything else NFL wise worth mentioning?
So I've kind of got something about that bum who is the quarterback for my team, where there was an article. Well, I didn't see the article. I saw someone post it and I've been trying to find an article to get the quote to find out how legit it is. Mm-hmm. But he finally has admitted that, again, allegedly, that he wasn't as far into his Achilles injury rehab as he should have been before he signed and started playing with the Falcons.
Of course he wasn't. He knew his agent was going to get him that bag. But
it's the fact that it's come out now. Like we all kind of looked at him and said, yeah, he shouldn't be out there playing. But now somebody is actually attributing a quote of him admitting it. But like I said, I'm still trying to find the article because I'm like, oh, the other thing is, if the rumors of his contract with the Falcons are true, this admission gets the Falcons some of that money back because allegedly his contract had some language that discussed his being game ready as far as some of the money he was being paid. And I'm hoping that that's true so that they can get some of that money back and use it, in a much better place for the team.
Well, good luck with that. It's
Right.
kind of hard to prove, especially if the article wasn't from a reputable source.
Right.
Because next year is a $10 million cap hit. So, I mean, I know y'all don't want to struggle with him through this season with him on the roster being the backup, making that kind of money.
Right.
But as I've attested to from the moment he got to Minnesota and signed that second guaranteed contract, that the best person in the NFL is whoever the hell his agent is.
Right.
Because to get him the bag 3 times and he didn't deserve any of it at all. Like, you were never going to, again, I'm always in favor of the players getting their money, right? Whether I like you or despise you or can't stand you, whatever the case may be, if someone's willing to pay you the bag for your services, go ahead and get it. But I'm also going to be critical.
I found it. It's on NFL.com.
Okay, so reputable source. So yeah, so internal investigation into that. Yeah, so okay. But yeah, at the same time, I'm gonna be ultra critical of the highest paid players at their positions relative to their statistical and playoff performance.
Yeah, the only thing that
especially your playoff performance, because if you ain't winning division titles, if you ain't winning playoff games, I am quick to slap down anybody who's like, this guy is so good, da 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 da. No, he's not. I'm tired of people hyping up Josh Allen, who shouldn't have won MVP last year. You're never going to convince me that he should have. Granted, he had a wonderful season. I don't care what Candaysee feels about that. That's her team. I understand. Let's be real.
I know.
Let's be really real. Josh Allen did not deserve to win MVP last year. The slurpage and the sympathy of the media and the talking heads on all the shows got him that MVP last year because it was, quote, his turn.
Yeah. And
this has been a good year. Well, he had a good year last year, but he lost out to Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And for the fear of no one went, pretty much literally no one on any talk show this past season wanted to admit Lamar Jackson deserved MVP 2 years in a row, because heaven forbid the black quarterback throwing up monster numbers win back-to-back MVPs.
Just can't let that happen.
And then his third overall. We can't have that. We have to give it to somebody else. Josh just happened to have the right season at the right time. And I'm sorry if that offends a Bills fan. That's the truth. Lamar Jackson could have easily won and probably should have won, if not him, Saquon. Because as far as I'm concerned, them the only two as far in the discussion. And hell, Saquon really should have won it outright, but no, the media writers who vote for these awards are hell-bent on MVP has to be a quarterback, to which all of them can kick rocks.
I'm sorry, that play when he reverse hurdled a defender, that sealed it for me right there. That sealed it for me. I'm like, that sealed it for me right there.
So it's cool. Saquon got Offensive Player of the Year, but the fact that the writers who vote in these awards have pretty much made MVP a solely quarterback award, because the last non-quarterback to win MVP was Adrian Peterson in 2012. Yeah, and if you're thinking about that and like, wait, damn, it's been 13 years of nothing but quarterbacks to win league MVP.
And they're not always the best player on their teams.
Which is asinine. And then you're making Offensive Player of the Year the best player in the league that's not a quarterback.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if I'm a little peeved, I have reason to be.
Yeah, I won't fight you on that.
Hell, like, what was it, a couple of years ago, Puka Nacua, not Puka Nacua, the other Rams wide receiver who just got traded out of there. Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp of the Rams 3-4 years ago, Triple Crown, led the league in receiving, yards, and touchdowns.
Yep.
Easily should have won MVP. They gave it to a quarterback. I'm like, what do non-quarterbacks have to do? Because, again, it's one of these things where the quarterbacks weren't setting records. I could see if the quarterback set the yardage record, passing record, like I think Patrick Mahomes' first year winning the MVP, he broke the touchdown passing record and the passing yardage record in the same season. He threw for over 5,000 yards and he threw for like 50 something, I think 56. Oh no, he threw 50 touchdowns. That's what it was. 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. No player had done both of those in the same season.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks have thrown for 50 touchdowns and thrown for 5,000 yards, but no quarterback had thrown for both in the same season until Patrick Mahomes did it, which is why he won it. That I understand.
Yeah.
But over the last 2-3 years, none of the quarterbacks who end up in the MVP conversation have done anything spectacularly amazing to warrant them getting the award, other than just being the best player on the best team. Like, Jalen Hurts was on his way to winning the award 2 years ago when the Eagles lost the Super Bowl to the Chiefs. But the reason they didn't give it to him is because he missed the last 2 games of the season with an injury. Or two of the last 3 games of the season with injury, because he did play in the final week against the Giants. But the 2 games prior to that, he missed. And because he missed those 2 games, no one voted for him. I'm sorry. Of the 50 people who voted, I think 4 people voted for him because Mahomes got 40 of the 50 votes.
Right.
And I'm like, that was your fallback, just to give it to Patrick Mahomes?
Quarterback.
Again, so is Jalen Hurts, but because Jalen Hurts missed 2 games.
Yeah.
I have seen quarterbacks miss games. Hell, Tom Brady was suspended to start a season because of Deflategate. Literally the first 4 games of the season and still won MVP. So for people to
there's
say,
a narrative to be told.
Games, that's why he didn't get it. That's BS. Because injuries
There's a
has never
narrative
stopped any other quarterback from winning the award. So, yeah, the voting, they need to revamp this. I'm tired of people talking about players who pretty much come back from the couch or who bounce back from having the worst season of their career to be comeback player of the year. Comeback player of the year is not for a dude who was sitting on his couch, not playing football, and gets signed middle of the season and plays well. That's not what comeback player of the year is for. Comeback player of the year is for players who come back from significant injuries or have had an injury-plagued season that caused their stats to dip the year before.
However.
No, there's no however in that. That's what that award is designed for.
No. Hold on. The story behind somebody just randomly getting signed because they were on their couch and at home and they came into the league and they balled out. I'm not saying that's deserving of comeback player of the year, but that's a damn nice story to tell that I think might deserve something. Okay,
recognition is fine. We can recognize, because the person I'm talking about specifically is Joe Flacco.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
And
I don't
the
think
Browns
they
signed
deserve
him
comeback
literally
player.
off his couch. Hold on. The Browns literally signed him off his couch. They were somewhere hovering around 500, and he got them into the playoffs as a wild card. Congratulations. That's not warranting of comeback player of the year when DeMar Hamlin, who literally died on the field the year before, made the Pro Bowl his first year back after that.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that Joe, so again, quarterback bias.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco did not deserve that award. You're never going to convince me that he deserved that award. There were, between DeMar Hamlin and the other 3 players who were coming back off injury and playing well. But you want to give it to Joe Flacco because he got the Browns in the playoffs from being on his couch the first 8 weeks of the season. Kick rocks. Like, that's not what the award is for. It was never designed for that. It was always designed for players coming back from injury, not coming back into the league from sitting on your freaking couch because nobody signed you in the offseason. Miss me with the BS. Anyway, before we get into other stuff that's happening in sports, I want to swing back around to the NBA because they're tweaking their All-Star game again. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh my God, everybody is trying to figure out how to get people to care about their All-Star game.
Well, the NBA is finally doing.
I'm not. I don't know how I feel about
what hockey has been doing for pretty much the last decade plus for Olympic years, because that's the only time hockey does it. They do it for Olympic years only, and that is USA versus the world. And that's what next year's All-Star game is going to be like, because what they try to do this past year is splitting the All-Stars up onto 3 teams and then taking the Rising Stars as the 4th team and playing a mini tournament. Did not work either. Fan viewership was kind of like, what the hell are we watching? No one's impressed. You set point limits on what they're playing to. So basically it played like a pickup game. Each roster had 8 players, so it didn't get the eyeballs that they anticipated for that. And so now they're going to do USA versus the world. And based on last year's All-Star voting, they did projected lineups. And Team USA was Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the other guard was Anthony Edwards. So that was Team USA. Team World was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Victor Wembanyama, and Nikola Jokic.
What? No for Rosh Shai? Why we get snubbed like that?
Who?
Our draft pick that year, the dude, he's I think Rosh Shai, and I'm probably saying, I still haven't learned how to properly say his name, but the French dude that we drafted that we drafted that year. Okay. The one time we get the number 1 draft pick, there's nobody exciting coming into the league.
So yeah, that was projected lineups based on last year's All-Star voting, and based on the starters alone, Team USA would be in trouble. Now, when you get to the depth of the bench, okay, the bench will probably carry Team USA to victory. But the problem has been no one plays hard in these games. We had a game, 2 years ago, where the total amount of points in the All-Star game was over 400.
That was ridiculous.
I saw it the next day, like, this can't be real. You telling me one of these squads scored 200 points?
Yeah.
200 points. Like, there's no effort. No one's trying. They tried several years ago, and everyone knows who the ringleader was. They tried several years ago where they brought back legends like Magic Johnson, Dr. J, Isaiah Thomas, I think, David Robinson probably, but like veterans from various time periods and eras to talk to both groups of all-stars, East and West, and tell them about the pride in which you played this game. Like, yes, we know it's an exhibition, but at least play with some heart and some pride or whatever.
Man, All-Star games used to be exciting.
Used to be.
I'm not going to say this is what I want to see happen, but people used to get hurt in All-Star games. They played hard. Well, didn't Kobe Bryant break his nose one year in the All-Star game?
Yes.
And again, I'm not saying I'm looking for anybody to get hurt, but put in some
that wasn't
effort.
That was more incidental because someone, I guess, put their hand out to swat at the ball and got him in the face by mistake. So it wasn't like a hard foul at the rim that he broke, got his nose broke.
Right. But again, it was somebody actually playing and not just running up and down the court looking for the ball.
Yeah, well, let's stick specifically to NBA because I will say this. Hockey's figured out what to do with their all-star game.
Okay.
Football has figured out what to do with their all-star game. I don't know what baseball can do to tweak theirs. I mean, it's baseball. Like, what variation can you make to, I mean, unless they do the same thing, USA versus the world, in which case USA is going to get smacked by like rag dolls.
All the things they don't let you do during the regular season, you should be able to do during the All-Star game.
Nah, that's not how that works. Because again, you don't want the players hurt.
No, I'm talking about like if I hit a home run, I should be able to flip and spin the bat.
I mean, you can do that. You can do that in the regular season. The only problem is if the opposing pitcher feels some type of way, he may beam you the next time up. So it's not like you can't do it in the regular season. You can do it in the regular season. It's just the unwritten rules, which baseball keeps trying to crack down on, which is always a line of BS they push out there. But back to basketball, what I want to see during basketball, and this is something they did 1 year and 1 year only, All-Star Weekend. Because the WNBA, well, I shouldn't say the WNBA, but the what was that 3-on-3 league WNBA had?
Ice Cube's 3-on-3 league?
No, not him. The one that the players ran. Was it Unrivaled?
I do not remember the name. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name. No, it was Unrivaled. You're right.
Unrivaled,
it's
yeah.
Unrivaled.
So
Unrivaled.
Unrivaled did it. And like I said, the only time the NBA did it was somewhere in the late 70s, early 80s. They only did it once. Had a 1-on-1 tournament.
Ooh.
Right. A 1-on-1 tournament. And the only reason I know the NBA did it once because there's actually footage out there. And I want to say it was it Dr. J versus Kareem?
Ooh.
Which is a clear and total mismatch as far as height and speed for opposite reasons.
I think that might be the point, though.
But you take all the all-stars and you put them in a 1-on-1 tournament for the weekend, right? Like I said, the women did it in Unrivaled at the mid-season break.
Mm-hmm.
Like they played their games up to a certain point in that 3-on-3 league, stopped, pool play or season play, if you will, and they had a 1-on-1 tournament. And for those who didn't know who Nafisa Collier was during the Olympics and the WNBA, they sure as hell found out during that 1-on-1 tournament because I already knew about how bad Nafisa Collier was. I knew she had that dog in her. And the way she showed out, man, everybody was talking about that. I was like, y'all just get on this bandwagon? I've been knowing about that. Like, Fee is a baller, man. Like, 1-on-1, please. So, yeah. And the reason that the NBA doesn't do anything like that, and the reason, I think the main reason that they don't play hard right now in these All-Star games is nobody wants to get embarrassed. They're more fearful of being embarrassed and being laughed at and being a meme on social media than they are putting any type of effort or pride into the game itself when it comes to All-Star Week.
That sucks.
The fear of being embarrassed. And the ringleader of that attitude is the same dude who's never participated in a slam dunk contest in his entire career.
You mean the king of flopping?
He's the ringleader.
To quote, what was it that Charles Barkley said? These dudes are out here making these max contracts and won't even put out any effort.
Yep.
You're playing a game for max contract. Get your ass out there and play.
And as we had Greg on a few months ago, the attitude of how the players play in certain situations is usually driven from the top superstars. And unfortunately, since he's still playing, he is still the top superstar in the league.
Yeah.
So everyone follows his attitude, unfortunately. He was the ringleader in that locker room rolling his eyes, muttering under his breath, dismissing everything those legends were telling them as far as the pride in which you play with for during All-Star weekend. Like, yeah, no one's asking you to play like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals, but damn it, at least play like you're in the playoffs.
Right. Play with some heart.
They play harder doing summer league games than they do in the All-Star game, and summer league don't even count.
Right.
It don't count. I get it. The league has tried everything, and I get it. They've tried, incentivizing them by putting more money into the pot as far as them showing up and playing. And it's not working. And look, I don't agree with 90% of anything that comes out of Stephen A. Smith's mouth, but I do believe him on this. He said that this is the last chance for the All-Star game, because if this doesn't work, because the problem is the viewership, and people aren't watching because they can see that they're not putting out any effort. And no one gives a damn as to the reason why you're not putting out effort. They don't care to watch it.
Right.
So if this does not work to drive up viewership, just do away with the All-Star game altogether.
Do you think so? If they do away with the game, do you think they should still have All-Star weekend?
No, there'll be no need to. Why? The slam dunk contest, look, I get that there's only so much athleticism that can be done, barring, the stuff you see in NBA Jam.
Right.
No one's doing those type of dunks. You are limited to about a dozen or so dunks, but the problem with the dunk contest is people take 500 attempts to get a dunk off, and we done already seen you try the same thing 11 times, that by the time you hit it, no one's impressed.
Right. And even if you get it right the first time, like I have not watched the All-Star game in who knows how long, but I also can't remember when was the last time I saw an original dunk in the dunk contest.
Again, you're in the air for a max 2.5 seconds, right? There's only so much you can do while you up there.
Right.
So I'm not begrudging them for that, but it's like, there's nothing wrong with doing those same 12 dunks that exist, right? Because there's a limited number of dunks that you can do. But if there's no flair to your showmanship as far as how you do those dunks, then it's just, we've seen that before. We're bored.
I don't know, man. I think there's some creativity left to be had.
I mean, look,
because today's
understand
players,
that a G leaguer has won the dunk contest the last 2 years.
Oh,
G League, yeah, back-to-back slam dunk champion, G League, white boy.
All I'm saying is there is some there. Again, the year Blake Griffin jumped over a car.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody who saw that coming.
Well, it was sponsored by Kia, and he had Kia sponsorship, so
I know, but still, nobody expected him to jump over a car.
Fair.
All I'm saying is there is still some amount of creativity to be had with coming up with some of these. Hell, I want to see somebody one year do a somersault during their dunk.
It's been done before. Well, not a somersault, but cartwheels.
No. I want you running down the court. When you jump, I want the ball in your hand. I want to see you flip through the air and dunk.
No, that's not possible.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's a video game. It's video game. It's not possible in real life.
Yes, it is. Dude, the gymnastics videos that I have watched, some of the stuff that I see these people, you can do it. Now, what are the physics involved?
Gymnasts and NBA players are not the same, dude.
No, you're absolutely right. But the athleticism of today's NBA players is so much better than the athleticism of say. I don't expect it to be the same as a gymnast. All I'm saying is the athleticism of these players gets better every year.
But what you want to see is basically what the what is it? The street teams of these NBA teams where they bring out the trampoline, the mini tramp. That's what you want to see.
I don't want to see him bring out the trampoline though.
Yeah, that's the only way that's going to happen.
I don't know, James. When you've got NBA players who are hitting their head on the rim,
okay,
I think they can do it.
No, they can't.
Maybe I'm giving them more athletic credit than they deserve.
You are.
I think they could do it. I'm not going to sit here and say everybody can do it.
Sir. Whatever you had earlier today, I would like some.
I will bet you money Ja Morant could probably do a somersault and still dunk.
No, he can't.
Because that little mother so-and-so can jump.
Again,
I don't know
what you took before we started the show, but I want some.
I ain't had nothing but water.
Use a lie.
That's all I had is water and I had water and Advil because I got some sore muscles. That's it.
But you want these cats doing somersaults without a mini trampoline.
I'm not as athletic as they are. I'm not going to be attempting this. I'm also only 5'10". I haven't dunked in 20 years.
Muggsy Bogues is 5'3".
Again, I haven't dunked. We are not going to compare my size to Muggsy Bogues.
I said Spud Webb.
Do you know how many Spud Webbs you need to make me? A few. I ain't no small dude. You know this. I am not the 5'10", 150-pound dude I was coming out of high school. I ain't been that small in 20 plus years. But needless to say, I truly think some of these guys have enough athleticism that they could.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe it.
Okay.
Again, I am willing to at least be open to the idea that I'm giving them more athletic credit than they deserve. I'm completely open to that idea. However, when I see some of the stuff that some of these guys do during the game, yeah. Again, when you're hitting your head on the rim, not the bottom of the backboard, the rim. That's all I'm saying.
Again, whatever it is you had, you need to bottle that up, sell it, become a millionaire.
Just saying.
All right. Other things in sports that you have seen or wanted to highlight.
Actually, my rant about Coco and that stupid opponent that she had and that dumbass journalist was going to be my something else, but we got to it kind of early.
It deserved to start the show.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
but since it wasn't in the rundown that you gave us, I thought I could use it as my story.
Yeah, but it was too big of a story to not talk about, and I left it out the rundown off because it hadn't blown up that much when I sent it. Because I sent it a week before.
I know.
The U.S. Open hadn't happened yet, so yeah.
I mean, I guess I could say accountability from Kirk Cousins. Like he actually is owning up to the fact that he probably shouldn't have been playing.
Oh my gosh. He can do us all a favor and retire and folks stop talking about him because I'm tired
of that part.
Because look, we did a show once upon a time that was purely just football.
Yep. And
you learned very quickly how much I did not like that dude.
I know.
Because of how overrated he is. And the slurpage only got worse because I'm pretty sure you still haven't watched it. The Netflix series Quarterback.
It's in my queue. You're right. I haven't, but it is in my queue.
So when you watch that, and again, it is cool to see the other side of these three quarterbacks because it's Kirk Cousins when he's still with Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
It's Patrick Mahomes, and it's Marcus Mariota when he was with you all with the Falcons. And it's the year that the Chiefs beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So it follows them all throughout wherever their seasons end. And we talked about the whole Mariota situation with his injury and the Falcons pretty much releasing him. Kirk Cousins, it goes to wherever they lose in the playoffs. Yeah, because they lost to the Giants in the wild card round. And then with Mahomes, it goes all the way up to the Super Bowl and them winning. It is, again, not taken away from the production and how these athletes live their private lives. And I have no issue with Kurt's private life, family life, whatever like that. I truly don't give two about that. But that family side of him that everyone loves so much that went to the next season is like, we need to be nicer to Kirk Cousins. We need to treat him better, and we need to rally around him because he's such a good dude and all this stuff.
Only thing I care about is how do you perform on the field.
I don't give a rat's ass what he does off the field and how much of a family man he is. I care his performance on the field and how y'all like to slurp that shit up like he's the second best quarterback in the league. Right. This dude is barely mid.
Right.
Granted, yes, he's a stat filler. He can fill up a stat sheet and make it look pretty with 400 yards and 2 touchdowns with 60% completion percentage. But guess what? Did his team win? More times.
And how much of that was done during garbage time?
That part. Because he's put up quite a few awesome numbers during garbage time. How do I know? The 2 times Minnesota played Philadelphia when he was the quarterback, we destroyed them. And he put up a whole lot of yardage in garbage time.
Yeah.
And when I say destroy, I'm talking about 38-7. We're beating them, but he's still throwing for 400 yards.
I need that to be a stat. I need garbage time to be a real stat.
Unfortunately, unless you look at the box score and see the score of the game, you won't know that those numbers will put up in garbage time.
I know, but that's what I'm like. I need garbage time to be its own stat.
It should be, but it's not, because all it's going to count is that this is another 400-yard game he threw for. And will help the adage that Kirk Cousins can get you yards. Oh, he's bona fide. He could do this. No, he can't.
No.
Kirk Cousins has been a bum since, let me not say bum.
No, again,
he has been a mediocre quarterback since day one.
Again,
in Washington.
Cam Newton made the point that this dude has been in the league for how long and hadn't won any playoff game and only won one playoff game?
12 years.
One playoff game?
One playoff game, 3 played.
To me, that right there says we never should have signed him.
1 win.
We never should have signed. I love my team and all. I will never forgive them for that. Speaking of dumb stuff that my team does, my team is known for making some boneheaded moves. And I'm sorry, I'm going to shit on my own team right now for a second. I look at how we dealt with Roddy White during his last season. I look at how we dealt.
Did you see that clip?
No.
So, yeah, before you keep going, I'm going to pull up this clip real quick. Keep going.
I also look at how we dealt with, again, Roddy White, Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Deion Sanders. We don't ever treat our stars or our star players like they deserve to be treated. Because don't get me wrong, as much as I prefer the name on the front of the jersey to the name on the back of the jersey, there are certain players on your team that clearly make your team better. And you should treat them a little bit better than everybody else because they've earned it. But no, we don't want to do that. We want to be like, ooh, we we got to find something to do with Matt Ryan. We can't keep him around. Like, come on now, y'all. Some days I want to go to the game with a brown paper bag over my head. Some days I really do.
So,
because again, they do not treat it's. To me, there's a certain amount of class that you should have with your star players when you get to the end of their tenure with your team. And my organization can't seem to figure that shit out no matter who the ownership is. And it pisses me off some days.
So the clip I want to share is, this looks like Roddy White, Harry Douglas, and I can't make out who the third player is, but you'll be able to tell us after I play this. But it is wild to hear Roddy talk about this as far as when Shanahan was your OC.
Mm.
Hold on, let me get the volume. And
Jacob Tammy, like he would sub me out. Like he would be in the headphones.
You can hear Matt. We've seen right now. We can hear him.
Yeah, we can hear him.
Oh, so
and
doing it on purpose.
Yeah, so I can hear him say, "Get Roddy out." I was like, "You gotta be real with me, man, because I'm about to lose my shit." He was like, "I just don't see you as like the top 4 options on the team."
Oh,
what?
I said, what? He was like, yeah. He was like, yeah. If the game was on the line, I would throw the ball to who? I would throw the ball to Jacob Tammy. I would throw the ball to Leonard Hankinson.
He ain't say that to your face.
This is what he told me. And then he said, and then I'll run a play for free to throw the ball to free. And then you.
He told you that?
He told me that. On the games, like he would sub me out. Like he would be in the headphones.
You can hear Matt.
Not one of the top options.
so, yeah, that is Roddy White talking to Harry Douglas, Julio Jones. And Shanahan is saying this to his face. I don't consider you one of the top 4 options on the team. Now, I remember this Falcons team that had all those players on it. And you told this man that you would throw it to Julio Jones, Jacob Tammy.
Right. What the fuck? He should be the last option.
Another person whose name I've already forgotten that quick, and then a screen to Devontae Freeman.
The only time Roddy White, in my opinion, is not the number 1 option is if Julio is on the field.
Now, this was probably towards the end of Roddy's career because
he was still better than every other receiver we had.
Not named Julio, yes, because it was Julio's first. Because Roddy and Julio overlapped for 2-3 seasons?
2 or 3, yeah.
So in that time frame, when y'all got Shanahan as the OC, because it would have been when you hired Dan Quinn as your head coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he came over. Are you crazy? Like
that is just wild. That's some wild shit.
Before you drafted Julio, Roddy was the best receiver on the team. What are you talking about, Jacob Tammy?
Jacob Tammy should have been last on your list. Yeah, that's how did he get a head coaching job again? With some bullshit like that?
Well, you saw the Super Bowl.
Man. Yeah, I did see the Super Bowl. How did he get a head coaching job out of that?
And for him to be the so-called offensive guru that he is,
right?
The 49ers have not scored more than 20 points in regulation in either Super Bowl they've been to under him.
That's just, again, seeing that clip right there. Yeah, that's Roddy, not the number 1. That's some wild shit.
You didn't watch that. I sent that you need to pay attention to the stuff I send in the chat more often.
Man, I do. James, sometimes you just send too much shit. Sometimes.
It's a sports chat. I send any and everything that I deem. I know I send a lot, but I don't send it if I don't think it's relevant.
I know everything you send is going to be relevant. That I don't doubt. I don't doubt that at all. I just can't always keep up with everything that comes through that chat.
I think you would have saw that one with the Falcon players on it because it says it in the description that you can see before you click on it. That you would have at least clicked on that one. I sent that one for you.
I saw it go by, but I was like, I don't know if I want to click on that. I saw it go by. I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
So after listening to it, are you glad you skipped it up until now?
Yeah. Again,
Kyle Shanahan. That's what they're talking about. Kyle Shanahan.
You would rather throw a screen to the dude who missed the blitz that cost us the Super Bowl? That's
well, I'm pretty sure this was before that because Roddy wasn't on the team when y'all went to the Super Bowl.
I know, but still, it would be one thing if yes, that happened after Roddy was no longer on the team. That was something that happened much later. However, when you go back and look at a lot of Freeman's plays and whatnot, how did he get signed again? He's fast. I'll give him that. Every running back in the NFL is fast. Fast is a requirement. Fast doesn't make you special. It's just like, even as shitty a quarterback as Kirk Cousins is, the fact that he makes it in the NFL still means he's better than a lot of other people. It doesn't make him good, but it does make him better than a lot of other people who couldn't get signed to an NFL team. So that's the other thing that I think a lot of people sometimes forget is even the worst person in the NFL at whatever their position is still better than like 95% of the rest of the athletes who couldn't make it.
That is true.
So Roddy White, not your first choice?
Mm-hmm.
Again, the only time that's true is when him and Julio were on the field at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only time.
And I can only think that this is how do I put this? This is an ego thing of how he wanted to run the offense because Roddy was, when he got there, it's those things where it's like a new coaching staff gets to a team and there's certain players on the team that is like no-brainers. These are our guys. And it's other players, no matter how good or bad they are, we don't want you.
Right.
And Roddy probably fell in that latter category where Shanahan got to the team with the new coaching staff that we ain't pick you. We don't want you. So that's probably more so what it was, why he felt he emboldened to say that we weren't part of the brain trust to select you to be on this team. So this is why I can say this to you. Okay,
so wait, no. They played together more than that because Roddy White's last year with the Falcons was 2015, and we drafted Julio in 2011.
So 4 years.
Yeah, so 4 years of overlap. Okay. But still, I mean, because I look at and plus the man played his entire damn career with the Falcons.
Yeah. Go ahead, let it out. Breathe.
Oh my God. I need a new team. I'm going to pull a Michael Smith on you in a minute.
Michael Smith? Oh, yeah, because he quit New Orleans.
Yep. I'm going to quit the Falcons one day. I don't know what.
And it sucks. And see what he say? He quit New Orleans, and like 2 years later, they won the Super Bowl.
I'm willing to make that sacrifice. I'll go start supporting Baltimore.
Oh my gosh!
Because anytime I play Madden, one of the first things I always try to do is arrange
trade for Lamar Jackson.
I try. I've only been successful once. Any other time, they've always rejected my trade offer. And I don't want to be one of those people who just goes in and edits the roster to make my team, the bomb ass. I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to be that dude. I want to do the trade properly and manage my franchise.
Oh gosh. Well, let's show some feel good stuff before we get out of here.
Yeah, let's get some feel good stuff.
So this is for the ladies who couldn't join us. Ellie, the New York Liberty mascot, showing out as always.
I love her so much.
Again, whoever is in the mascot costume need not ever make their presence known. Like outside of the people who hired them the only people that need to know. Because, there
are some interesting mascots across sports franchises. She's one of the most interesting ones, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let me see if I can. Oh no. Okay. So this one was from Candaysee, and I'm gonna try to do this justice, as she couldn't be with us today. So former NFL players with careers in NASCAR. These are two former linebackers, and I will get to their names shortly. There we go. So McFadden and is a jackman.
Wow.
Working the pit crew. He played for the Rams and the Steelers. Here's some video of him out there. Again, if you watch NASCAR, pit crew is not as easy as it seems.
Anybody who thinks pit crew is easy doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right. And then Jeremy Kimbrough, another former NFL player, played with Washington.
How did these guys get involved, I wonder?
He too is out there. So
And the thing that gets me is we always talk about we need more black drivers, but we never think, I never hear people having the conversation about black pit crew members. I'm sure somebody's having it. I've just never heard it.
Yeah.
I hope somebody's having it.
And the Brotherhood is a group that tries to get more minorities into running pit crew. So
yes, and I think one of the things that we also have to get over is the stereotypes of NASCAR.
White sport.
Not just white sport, but redneck sport.
Yeah.
So years ago, I almost said where. Well, I mean, hell, it's probably no. Some of these people, I'm sure. At any rate, years ago, one of the ladies that I worked with, she worked in the development office. Mm-hmm. And if you know anything about how development officers work, their sole purpose is to get corporate donors to donate money. And she went to her first NASCAR match. Race. She went to her first NASCAR race. And when she came back, she said she thought NASCAR was nothing but rednecks driving cars. the amount of wrongness that she says is in that stereotype is just it's sad we don't see the others the non-redneck side of NASCAR more.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it stands out of all the wrong moments because someone as a prank put a noose inside Bubba Wallace's locker a few years back. But their team's owned by Brad Daugherty, former Cleveland Cavaliers great. Michael Jordan owns a NASCAR team. Who else? Because I'm blanking on another person that I'm thinking of. Former either basketball, football player. I'm blanking on the name right now. But there's several former athletes, black men who own or have part ownerships in NASCAR teams.
Yeah.
So.
And Daugherty and Jordan are principal owners. They're
Yes.
not just
they're
principal.
Yes, they're principal owners.
That's what's up.
So people buy into to be part owner of their NASCAR teams. They're not just I got a little piece. No, because it's
right.
I mean, if you take care of your money, it's easy to own a NASCAR team. Really, it's not that expensive compared to owning a franchise in any other sport. It's probably one of the cheaper franchises to run or own. I didn't
realize how expensive those cars can get. Obviously, it's still cheap compared to other sports. We're talking multi-million-dollar cars, though, because of all the engineering that goes into it. I had no clue.
So the people who design the cars, you can't just be out there like designing the car because it's fun. You need an engineering degree minimum. To do that. Like, that's not like to say it's a science. That is a gross understatement. Like those engineering teams that design the cars and the shape, the frame and everything that goes over the metal frame and putting that stuff together. These are people who have advanced degrees. So
again, and that's why the stereotype of this just being some redneck sport is just so very, very wrong.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously, there are going to be some rednecks in NASCAR because of how NASCAR got its origin. That's to be expected, but that ain't what it is the majority anymore.
Right. So,
but then again, I think you don't find very many of us involved in it because racing is not a cheap sport to get involved in. When I look at the sports that we dominate at, they're easily accessible sports.
Well, so yes, racing is not a cheap sport, but driving on the lower circuits is kind of inexpensive to where you can get noticed and get brought up to NASCAR. So there's some lower cup circuits or kart circuits, as they're called, that if you drive well enough, a NASCAR team or NASCAR rep will find you. Like, again, talent will always be found.
Right.
Like a lot of the drivers on NASCAR started on those lower circuits. They didn't just come in one day and be like, I want to drive, and did a tryout.
True, but I wonder how, when you say less expensive, again, NASCAR cars are multi-million-dollar cars.
No.
So, but what I'm saying is those smaller circuit cars are easily probably multiple $100,000 cars. That's still not cheap to get into.
Yes. But so
there's also no Pop Warner Racing League. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because I don't know for certain.
So when I say kart series, I literally mean like kart series. Like you talking about
12 and 13-year-olds?
Huh?
Like 12 and 13-year-olds?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. So again, think about where NASCAR is like a dominant sport. One is mostly in the South, primarily the Carolinas, probably some spots here in Georgia, maybe Tennessee,
Alabama,
Florida.
Yeah.
So the places where typically all the big major NASCAR tracks are probably have something smaller, not too far away. or in very deep rural areas. But yeah. Those type of things exist. And also think about when you go to like think about all those monster truck rallies that still get advertised, right? The precursor to some of those things is a race. And it's a kart series race, depending on what type of cars they're racing, whether it's, rallies, karts, those little funny cars that look like they have the ramp over top of them.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So they're still racing laps around a track per se. It may not be asphalt they're racing on, but they're racing in dirt.
Yeah, this is true. But the question
and those things count.
The question still the question still is, how do we get more people who look like you and I interested at a young age?
Well, that's the other thing, because there's always that period where it is adolescence. I'll call it somewhere between like 10 to 14 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where peer pressure is heavily dominant.
Yeah.
So you can be doing something that your peers aren't doing. The moment they found out they clown you for it, you quit.
Yeah.
And that goes across all races and all sexes. Because it's the same reason why a lot of young girls don't stick with sports, because the girls they're trying to be friends with are like, oh, you trying to, talk down to them, or I won't say bully, but they make fun of them for playing a sport.
No, I'd imagine there's a lot of bullying as well.
Yeah. So, and so people always like, well, why are more girls doing this and doing that? It's like, because those formative years when they start developing their interests, somewhere their same age, more times than not, is someone their same age as opposed to an adult talking them, making fun of them or bullying them to an extent to where they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And that gets into a whole issue of confidence and self-esteem stuff. We save that for another show. But want to end.
But needless to say, I would love to be able to turn on a race and see so much more of us.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about NASCAR, but give me F1.
There are there are a few of us, and I do mean a few.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand that stuff like F1, so like individual sports, you're pretty much going to get all your top stars at the major events.
Yeah.
But there's always something going on. So you could randomly catch an F1 race on and not see the best drivers or the top drivers on the circuit at said event. Right.
Yeah. And the other thing is, F1 races, because F1 isn't that big here in the States, they're always on at some odd ass hours that you got to be a real F1 fan to get up and watch that race.
Or hopefully catch a replay because the American network decided to show it early Saturday at like 1 o'clock before whatever else that you're trying to watch comes on, which still happens rarely from time to time. But if you catch the cable affiliates of like NBC, Fox Sports, that you may catch an F1 race there from time to time. So let me get to this last one here from Major League Baseball. Crazy enough. There's a game between the Angels and the Athletics. And let's just let this.
This one to center field. Denzel Clark on the move.
Oh,
back.
yeah.
And he makes another catch.
Oh my God!
Back-to-back weeks where he wins the Electric Play of the Week, and he's already on the leaderboard for this week.
You go ahead and book it. I've heard the list. I've seen the list of the greatest catches you're ever going to see in your life. If you don't have room for this one on your list, we're watching two different sports. I mean, Denzel Clark climbs the ladder and then hangs out. You want to talk about playing above the rim, folks. This ball is out of the ballpark by 5-6 feet. And Denzel says, nay, give me that back.
I'll go on record and say the only catch I've seen better than that was Bo Jackson running up the wall.
Yeah, but he caught the ball, then ran up the wall. So it was more of an athletic feat after the fact than the catch itself.
Fair, but still.
But I do get where you're coming from.
But that right there was a hell of a catch.
That is quite possibly easily top 2, because I don't even know what my 1 is, because that clearly can't be 2. There 80s, 90s, even early 2000s watching baseball, there are plenty of highlights of a player getting to the wall and jumping up vertically to catch the ball before, reaching back and grabbing it. To actually basically climb the wall, lean over, and snatch the ball by sticking your hand out, because you're like, he's tracking the ball. Yeah. He's got to realize he's on the warning track. He knows the wall is coming up.
Yep.
Still climb it without hesitating. And then you're reaching out with your left to snag this ball.
Yeah.
2 feet away from you to get it. Like, you're clearly about to fall over, because understand, if he falls over the wall, it's a home run, whether he caught it or not.
Oh, no, I didn't know it would still be a home run if he caught it.
Mm-hmm. If you fall,
that I did not know.
If you go up that wall and you fall over the wall, whether you catch the ball or not, it's still a home run.
Okay, I did not know it would still be
back into the field of play with the ball. So yes, you can climb the wall, reach out there and grab it, but you need to come back into the field of play. Remember, the wall is pretty much a barrier, inbound, out of bounds, if you will. So it's kind of like a catch. Yeah, you can catch the ball, but if both feet come down out of bounds, it's not a catch.
That's okay. That's fair. But as I'm watching that catch, something tells me that's not the first time he's done that. That's just the first time they've caught it on camera.
Yes, definitely probably the first time it's been caught on camera.
Yeah. Because again, he was so nonchalant about it.
Yeah, because
especially the way he catches it, bends down, rotates, and comes back up. That ain't the first time he's done that. Because that motion was too smooth and too fluid to be the first time he's ever done it. That's just the first time it's ever been on camera.
Absolutely.
I believe.
All right, well, that's all I got for tonight. Anything you want to say before we get out of here? Aside from your team getting rid of that bum quarterback you despise so much.
I don't know. Go watch some F1 races. Go watch some F1 races. Even if you don't fully understand what's going on, watch a couple of races. Give it a chance. F1 is to me at least, is a lot of fun. Give it a chance.
Fair enough. I will take this moment to point out that if you're not watching the WNBA, you are doing yourself a grave disservice, as we have mentioned to a member of one of our chats a few months ago, because he didn't know local Atlantan, who did not know that the Dream had signed Brittany Griner in the offseason. So now he's like, I'm gonna have to check out the game. Tomorrow Friday night slate is Chicago in Atlanta and Dallas in Vegas. So those games on Friday night. So I would definitely say watch Angel Reese and Brittany Griner go at it tomorrow, and hopefully the Vegas Aces can bounce back against the worst team in the league in Dallas, though they're going to have the Rookie of the Year in Paige Beckers. So that's all I got for the evening. Sir, ladies, we missed you tonight. Hopefully we will have both Candaysee and Qiana next month.
It's not the same without you, ladies. It's not.
It's not. But I did show a number of clips that they posted in our chat. Candaysee, if I didn't do the NASCAR story justice, please, we will definitely present it again next month so you can do it the justice that I probably did not fully give it. But yeah, felt like we had a good night tonight. So we are going to get out of here and see you all next month.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it cedar lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course. Cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. The work of all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can keep history on the shelf. If they won't tell it, we will. We will.